Hi, I wanted to send you a video thank you card today. Just my way of saying thank you very much for the opportunity that I had to serve you and share some really valuable learning experiences with you recently. You know, we talked about a lot of important things, and I wanted to share a couple of more concepts with you today to help solidify what we talked about and help you take those things to help you get better results in your life. So today I'd like to share with you 3 principles that talk primarily about your past, your present, and your future. Principle number 1, your past does not equal the future. That old adage of past performance is not indicative of future results could not be any more true for you personally. Your past does not equal the future, so long as you believe that you're not stuck in the beliefs of the past. So let me ask you, where do your beliefs come from? Well, let me tell you a little story that might help illustrate that some of your beliefs might be myths that you want to bust. This is a railroad system somewhere in North America. And if I were to take a tape measure and measure from one rail to the other, it is exactly 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. Kind of an odd measurement. Why not 4.5 feet? Why not 5 feet? 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. Well, to understand where that measurement comes from, or that distance comes from, let's go to the tram systems of early Europe. And those rails are exactly 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches as well. Well, to understand where they came from, we've got to go back to the ancient roads of Europe. Now, look at this picture of an ancient road. If I were to measure from the middle of one rut to the middle of another rut, that is exactly 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. So the wheelbase of those wagons and stagecoaches, all the transportation, 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. Hence, the railway system followed from there. Well, to understand where those ruts in the road came from, we've got to go back to the ancient chariots of the Roman army. Now, if I were to take a tape measure and again measure the wheelbase of that chariot from wheel to wheel, it creates a rut of 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. Now, why 4 feet and 8 1/2 inches? Because that is exactly the distance of 2 Roman war horse hind ends. Now, it doesn't seem like that should be true, but that is the case. That's the distance of 2 horses' hinnies. Now, if you've ever sat through a meeting and you've wondered, I wonder whose horse's patoot came up with this idea, you might actually be onto something. But that measurement of 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches went on throughout history and became a standard. Did you know that that's where that came from? But yet it has affected generations now. So let me ask you, where do your beliefs come from? Could they be founded on some horse's patoot idea hundreds of thousands of years ago? Why is this significant? Well, if you look at the modern transportation system, the most technologically advanced transportation system in the known galaxy, up until recently was mothballed, it was the Space Shuttle program. Now, if you notice, the Space Shuttle is launched on the back of 2 solid rocket engines. Why 2? Why not just one big one? Well, those solid rocket engines are manufactured at ATK in northern Utah. And guess how they get a solid rocket engine from northern Utah down to Florida to launch it into space? That's right, on a rail car that has a wheelbase of 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. So question, where your beliefs come from? Are they true? Because whatever you believe with feeling is true for you. Whatever you believe with passion and emotion is true for you. So maybe you need to change some of your beliefs and realize that they're not serving you well. Principle number 2 is change your point of view. Change your point of view and start looking at yourself, start looking at the world around you differently so you can get different results. Some years ago, my beautiful daughter Megan was taking photography as part of her senior year in high school. And one of her assignments one week was to take a number of different pictures from different points of view. And it was to learn that if you just get up and move, you can change the whole composition of your shot. Well, one particular week, she came home at the end of all of her activities and she showed me this picture. And I said, "Wow, Megan, how did you get that picture? I mean, look at that. You can see the texture of the rocks. You can see the splinters of those railroad ties. You can actually see the model number in the rails. And look at that awesome sunset in the western skies. How did you get that picture?" And she said, "Dad, I did what you said. I changed my point of view. So to get this particular picture, I actually laid down on my stomach and sat the camera right in the rocks and took this picture. I changed my point of view." Now, let me ask you, how do you see the world? Is this how you see the world? Or is this how you see the world? It's all based on your point of view. You're not a tree. If you don't like your point of view, get up. Change your perspective, change your view, and you'll change the world. This is so interdependent on the first point of your past is not equal to the future. So change your point of view, start seeing the world differently, and you'll start doing things differently. You'll start behaving differently. Therefore, you'll get different results. But if you don't like what you're seeing, get up and change your point of view. And the third principle is launch towards a new beginning. Everything is a prelude to action. The great prophet Nike once said, "Just do it," meaning it's all a prelude to action. Just like sitting through church will not make you more spiritual, and sleeping in a garage is not going to make you a Chevrolet. It's a prelude to get up, to move, to launch, to start taking action, to start doing something. Because if you'll always do what you've always done, then you're always going to get what you've always got. You've got to think differently. You've got to see differently. And you've got to act differently. So let's launch towards new beginnings and take massive action and start doing something differently. So, remember, your past does not equal the future. Change your point of view and launch towards a new beginning. Are you ready? Are you all in? Then let's fly together.
Utah chapter! Woo!